Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the other ones because I'm not going to be showing my face. I'm mainly going to be showing pictures and talking about today's topic, which is going to be the Notting Hill race riots. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so the Notting Hill riots began in 1958 and began to happen when a large population of the Caribbean and African people began to migrate to London in the UK. Now, at this time, they went to a gated community called the Notting Hill area. In this area, so many attacks against the black community and West Indian people began because a lot of the European white people did not like that, and they began to start wars and, well, riots against the people that were moving into the state. So, at this time, London began to grow by over 100,000 Caribbean people in the Notting Hill area. And in that area alone, it already had high rates of poverty, crime, and violence in the area. So, a lot of competition for housing between black people and white families began, and that caused a lot of tension because a lot of these people were exploited by the landlords because of the issues that they already had. Now, the governments and of the area began to say that the riot wasn't based on race, even though what really happened can clearly show that it obviously was. They called it racial tension because African and Caribbean people were all in the area and the white people did not like that whatsoever. But this group of white people were known as the Teddy Boys, and they were known to be completely disrespectful and racist towards black newcomers in Notting Hill. So their resentment for them was already known from the beginning, and they started a slogan called Keep Britain White. And this began at a local meeting in West London, and a lot of people were really starting to get concerned because they felt like this was going to start riots, which it did. The Caribbean community leaders began to have meetings to talk about this prejudice, and this is when the issue really began. On August 20th, property that was owned by the Caribbean immigrants was vandalized, and then the owners of that property were subjected to physical harassment. Then on the 21st of August, 9 Teddy Boys, which are just another way of saying rich white people, began to attack 5 black men in London at Notting Hill, leaving 3 men nearly dead. And when those 9 Teddy Boys were arrested, they only got 4 years each for the attack of those 5 black men. And they attacked them because they felt as though they were taking control of their neighborhoods. At this time, events began to turn drastically because on August 30th, many white people, groups of 400 people, chased the Caribbean population in the area, began making petrol bombs and milk bottles, launching them as missiles, and arming themselves with iron bars and butcher knives to so-called counter-attack the black youths. So at this time, they began to say that they were retaliating for their Teddy Boys being sent to jail. And at this time, when the police tried to step in, they basically told the police that if they tried to get involved, then they were going to have to get it too. And when a police officer tried to get involved, he, well, got nearly killed. And so at this time, it started a whole ongoing riot for 5 days straight. And it started talks about race discrimination and immigration to urban areas. So then that's when the black population and the Caribbeans began to arm themselves for a line of defense, and they began carrying around those iron bars and butcher knives. And then when that happened, they got arrested for defending themselves, saying that they were both at fault. And that also gave the government more ammunition to say that it wasn't based on race because both sides were armed. And this went on for 5 days, And the government is basically saying that attacks were not racially motivated because it showed violence on both sides. But it is actually proven that only mainly white people were planning these attacks and committed attacks. It only shows that these Caribbean people were protecting themselves from the ongoing riot because Caribbean women and children were being brought out of their houses and attacked or kidnapped during this time. And there is only information about mainly white people getting arrested because they were the people attacking others at the time. But as you can see, there is huge crowds as a direct response to the riots, and a lot of police officers trying to get involved, but the riot actually stopped after about a week. Like, everything kind of finally settled down, and mainly white people out of 140 people were arrested for this incident, but it shows that almost 96 people were, like, really injured during the situation. Okay guys, this is the end of my video. I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you tell me down below in the comments if you believe that the Notting Hill riots were based on race or not. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.